Boy, that's a neat place over there. Mm-mm. Good old eaters. Brings back old memories. Here we are at Cascade on the 27th. Is this? Looks like the old fence has seen better days. And like we're going to lose this fence.
Julie said something about Kate being on the swing, but I don't know what she was talking about.
It looks a little small for Kate.
The rope looks a little small for anybody.
Fond memories.
Kate wants to end that very well.
Oh, well, it's not there.
Oh, that was the best.
You know, we used to have a hammock between them trees,
Did you?
and we used to, pick up all the time. So I always had these big pine trees. It was really great.
Well, how big around with the trees?
Oh, well, they were about this big around. It was all very, I remember they've always been big around. My father planted them when he was just a kid.
Oh, my. Which ones? Those two trees out there?
The two pine trees. The two pine trees. So he and his brother went for the cows, and they came back with these two little pine trees. They planted the two, and they didn't know what to do with the other, and that's the one that the lightning struck down here at the fence. And they planted the other one down there along the fence, and just here a few years ago, the lightning struck it.
Huh.
So that was where the trees
Yeah, that was lasting too.
Yeah, that was. That was a big one, too. Get the poor rail fence burned since it's been...
Yeah, that's what I did. I started out with the rail fence. I says, it looks like our rail fence is on its way out.
Yeah.
Yep, I think it is.
There's no way to replace it.
No. Well, we had enough rails to fix that. The spring was used it for firewood. We brought the rails in, we got permission from carpenters to gather the rails, and we went out with a truck and gathered them one Saturday afternoon. They come up that way and
There used to be the whole upper end from where the tree, where the road comes in, all the way up to the corner with the rail fence.
The old well out here.
And poor trees with the knots on them.
Yeah. An apple tree looks like it's listing.
Yeah, it is.
And one of these days we're going to come up here and find that that apple tree has gone the way of all flesh.
I wonder if you just cut that limb off where that head is there. That looks like a head. If you cut that off, if that wouldn't keep it from falling over.
they can't fall only against that other tree.
No, this limb here, that's what I'm talking about.
Is that what on the chainsaw?
Yeah, but
Huh?
it can't fall the way it is because one main branch is on each side of the trunk of that other tree.
Yeah. That was some old tree.
That leans a lot more than it used to.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the roots are rotting.
Boy, the Springman boys really like to drive in here, don't they?
I don't know how much here at the house, and it blew so hard that we all went in the house and the blew chairs clean across the porch. And clean over this way. The wind blew that hard. It blew the chairs clean across the porch. Everybody went in the house.
When was she married?
Oh, I don't know whether it was in June or in August or when. It was in the summertime. I know it was hot. It was a hot day.
Uh-huh.
But I couldn't believe the wind and the lightning. My gosh, I bet there was about a half a dozen trees that were blown down in the orchard there at that time.
Is that right?
The wind blew that hard.
Well, what did you have out here in this field, out here?
Anything and everything. They planted. See, the wagon shed stayed right there where the ferns are.
Yeah.
The garage was here, and then, of course, the barn was down there. But we had planted everything out there. We used to we had apples, a lot of apples, there was apple orchards out there. And they used to set up the other side of the rail fence. Then there was we called it a woodshed at that time, but that was an out kitchen. It was right out here, inside the rail fence here. It was
Uh-huh.
an out kitchen. That's what they used to do the cooking in the summertime.
Oh.
See, they didn't have or have the heat on in the house. They turned the cooking out there.
That saved the house from getting so hot.
Yeah, well, most all of the farms had that.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they all had an out kitchen that they cooked in the summertime. And then they would bring the food, into the house. They didn't have tables or anything set up out there. Would they bring the food into the house?
How did you refrigerate all your meat and stuff?
Down the cellar.
Did you really?
See, you didn't keep a lot of meat. And now they'd butcher in the fall, and then they'd put the hams, they'd put them down in the bins, in the granary bins. They'd put them down and cover them up with grain. They'd smoke them, and then they'd put them down in there and cover them up with grain, and it was airtight. They would keep beautifully. You could keep them for all summer long out that way.
Hmm. Did you smoke? Did you smoke pork or
Oh
anything?
yeah, we smoked,
Did you?
we smoked the hams, and the bacon, and we used to feed the bacon to the dogs because nobody liked bacon. We used to feed the bacon to the dogs.
And you've often talked about your mother and making the starter for the bread?
Oh yeah, she always made her own starter. Then
What'd she
kept
start
it-
from?
I never knew. She kept it from one baking to the next. She kept.
What
it
did you
in the
do?
jar.
Just keep out a little bit of dough all the
No,
time?
a little bit of the yeast, not the dry. She never had dry yeast, but she kept out a jar of yeast, and then she would put that in. She always had mashed potatoes. She'd make a couple potatoes and mashed them and use the potato water, and then put sugar and all that. Everything with salt. She never put salt in until she was ready to mix the bread, because she said the salt retarded the activity of yeast. That's why I always put salt in mine the last thing too,
Oh.
because it retards the action of the yeast. But then she would save that till the next.
Well, I never realized that.
Didn't you?
Well, I've often put the salt right in with my sugar.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
I never put the salt.
I'll
in.
remember that.
Yeah, I put the flour and the yeast and the sugar and the oil and then one part of the water in, and I beat that up. And then after I put the rest of the water in, then I beat it a little bit, and then I put the salt in. I never put the salt in with the other.
Huh.
It dries as much faster if you don't.
So then you said that the neighbor used to come.
Aunt
what was
Kate,
it?
Aunt Kate Mack used to come over and borrow yeast from Mom.
Borrow
because
yeast from your mom.
Hers would run out. Mom's never did. She'd always save it, and every so often Aunt Kate would come over.
What do you do? Feed it with something to keep it?
No, you just put it in a jar, and it would ferment in the jar, and you keep it. Well, see, Mom baked about every other day,
Uh-huh.
and then she would add the other things to it, and she always had a crock of yeast. Or maybe she'd make a crock, maybe a gallon of yeast, and then she'd save enough of that out to start the next bunch. I think the starter was something like this, a friendship cake, that they
Yes.
that you can make a starter and keep that starter for your next bunch of cake. And I think it was the same principle,
Huh.
because we never bought yeast. And they used to say that I didn't like Aunt Kate's bread because it was sour, or she didn't know how to keep her yeast. But Mom never had any trouble. But she always put potatoes in it.
I was watching a show on TV in England right before we came back, because there was a lot of stuff on TV, probably here too, about what was going on in France when they had the big celebration
Yeah,
here
yeah.
on Bastille Day.
Uh-huh.
And this guy had gone to a baker, and he said, well, we went to where it all started, in the bakery, and I guess where they must have where they got this revolution going,
Mm-hmm.
And so the guy says that he uses the old recipe that they used then. And the guy says, but your bread is so good, and why is it so good? And he said, because. And he showed how he made it. And he had one of these great big mixmaster, like commercial size.
Yeah.
And he was throwing in these boiled potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
This dough was mixing up, and he just got a whole big bucket of boiled potatoes, and that was all going to be mixed right in with that bread.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, because there's potatoes in the bread.
I'm tempted to try putting potatoes in mine sometime and see how, what difference it would make. Because all you have to do is cook it and mash it up real fine,
Yeah.
and then add it to.
This guy just threw them in whole,
Well, he
and
had
it
a
went
mixer.
right through his mixer.
He had a mixer he could do that with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I've been thinking about that, and I've been tempted to try it with potatoes and see, maybe I'll do that tomorrow.
He said that's the way to make the best French bread.
Yeah.
That is the best French bread recipe with the potatoes.
But Mom used to bake bread every other day, because see, all us kids here, and everybody had a piece of bread in their hand all the time. But she used to bake 8, 9, 10, 11 loaves at a time.
Wow.
11 loaves of bread. She had 2 big pans about this long and about this wide, and she made 4 loaves in that. And then she had another one that was about this long, but it was narrow, and she made 3 loaves in that and made them this way. And then she had to, if she didn't run out, then she'd put them in a round loaf like this, you know, make a round loaf. And we'd always take that round loaf, we'd cut all the crusts off.
Did you?
All 4 sides. Oh, I love fresh baked crust.
Crust.
I always have to have a piece of apple
Now, when
butter
she
on.
took it out of the oven, I always put butter on mine to make the crust soft. She didn't put anything on it.
She liked a crisp crust.
She liked it.
A crisp
What they
crust.
call in England, what they call crusty bread,
Yeah.
and it's real crusty.
I never put any in mine. But see, when it gets cold, then I'll put it in a bread wrapper, and that softens the crust.
Yeah.
You don't have to put anything on the top of it.
Well, our grandma Biter used to bake bread.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh,
I can remember when she used to send over a loaf of bread. A loaf didn't go very far. All you got was one piece.
Yeah.
But I remember her baked bread.
Yeah. I love to bake bread.
Isn't it funny that our mom didn't bake?
Our mama had too many kids.
That's true.
Yeah, well, that's true.
That's
Yeah.
why she couldn't bake.
She didn't bake.
No.
But I said, I love to bake. And, you know, people say, you make it from scratch. I said, oh, but there wasn't the other way.
Oh, yeah.
Lady up the street, she buys the frozen bread every once in a while, and she makes rolled out, makes cinnamon rolls out of it. 'Cause she
Oh,
wants
yeah.
to come down someday when I'm making cinnamon rolls and find out how I make them.
How you make cinnamon rolls.
But everybody seems to like, and Mickey makes it. Mickey loves to bake. And he makes homemade bread, and then he always gives Michelle a loaf to take back with her when she goes back to college. And I gave her a loaf when she was up one time, and I said to her, I said, Michelle, if you want, I have some homemade bread if you'd like to have some. And so I said, do you want Grandpa to cut it for you? And she said, oh, yeah. So he always slices it, and we put it in the freezer, and you can tear it out as much as you want at a time, you know. So she came over and got it, and I said to her something about taking it down to college. Oh, she said, I don't, I said something about getting butter for, oh, she said, I don't bother with butter. She said, I just take a couple pieces and just eat them out of my fist. She loves it. She just loves homemade bread.
Well, now, when you were a little kid here, what kind of games did you play? What did you do?
I don't know. I played hide and seek, and you had no toys to play with, you know, and well, you had your doll, but I mean, that was all. But we played hide and seek, and you were out running around all the time, picking berries and things like that, you know. You didn't have too much time to play.
Mm-hmm.
You never were bored. You didn't have time to be bored, and if you could get out of sight so they couldn't find you to work, well, you were in good shape.
Well, that sounds like me. I was always trying to take off so I'd be out of sight.
Dora and I used to pick
Yep.
berries a lot.
Yeah, you were good at that.
Oh, yeah, I was.
We used to play May I. I don't know if you ever.
Yeah, we used to play May I.
Remember? I don't know how you did it, but
Well, we used to stand on the sidewalk,
yeah.
and they used to say, take 2 giant steps.
Oh yeah.
And then you would say, may I? If you didn't say may I, they'd say, ha, caught you. Now you can't do it.
You're running.
I know I'm running.
Oh.
You can sit down anywhere you want to sit down. And so that's what we used to do.
Uh-huh.
If you didn't say may I, you didn't get to do it.
Yeah.
Well, see, there's always things to do. I said in the spring you planted potatoes and you planted corn, and then you had the cattle to take care of. You know, we used to love to own harness of horses. They'd bring the horses in, and we'd buy for each, and we'd get out to. They were short enough that they hung them up on the hooks up here. And, you know, I can remember on harnessing the horse, and I had to jump up to get them up over these hooks because I just thought that was great that I was able to harness the horse. It was a big, heavy job, but we loved it. So I said, you just, you know, things like that you thought was fun. And I said, we didn't consider they were work.
Did you have many cows?
Oh, yeah, we had about 10, 15 cows. We had sheep.
Uh-huh.
And,
They gamble?
Chickens.
Did the lambs
they
gamble?
gambled.
Did you ever see lambs gamble?
I sure did.
I couldn't believe it the first time I saw. He was always kidding me about gambling lambs. And I looked out in the back, we were at a bed and breakfast in Scotland. And it was a farm. And right out in the backyard were these sheep. And it wasn't too long past lambing season. And so they all had their babies around them.
Uh-huh.
And all at once these babies started jumping straight up in the air. John says that's what gambling is. By the time we got the camera, they didn't gamble anymore. We wanted to catch them.
Calf does that a lot too.
Yeah,
When you're trying to feed a calf, you hold a bucket between your feet, between your knees, if you can, you dip its head in, so it'll drink the milk, you know.
Uh-huh.
And if they can spill it on you, they always spill it on you, don't they?
Except Uncle Neil. Uncle Neil wouldn't do it because we hated to feed calves. Oh, he'd get so mad at them, you know, he'd get them between his legs, you
I
know,
went out with John and
stick their head down the bucket, you know.
John
and
had patience.
yeah, John could do it all right. But that's,
But so they get you all messed up. You're all full of milk.
Are you?
we used to ride horseback out for the mail and
Oh, did you?
oh yeah.
Oh, it's
Now, how
far.
far did you have to go for the mail?
We used to go out to Norton's. The mailman left it there, see, and then we would ride out. It's the first
Oh,
house
That's
down.
not very far then.
Oh, but farther. After
But then it was across from Norton's where you went to school, right?
Just been
Somewhere
over
in that
on the
area?
on the same side of the road, but just the hill's here, and you go down the slope of the hill, and then it starts up, and you're right in the bottom there.
But it was on the same side of the road as
Same
Norton's?
side of the road.
Why did I always think it was across the road?
Oh, right on the same side. And we used to go down, we used to go to school there. We used to go out, cut out across the fields and walk over that way.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, we always walked.
Then you didn't go out the lane and down the
No,
road?
There wasn't any lane there then.
Ah.
See, at that time, the lane started at the foot of the hill, but it went over this way and wound all the way back. They just made it so they would miss the bumps, and they would out this way, and they went out to the top of Faulkner's Lane and then down their lane. See, then they built this lane right on the line, all the way up the road. I was just a kid when they built that, though.
Is that
I
right?
remember them building it, but I wasn't big enough to be out there and paying attention to it.
Well, did they use the lane out here though, right?
Yeah, they used this one. This was the first lane. See, that's why when Grandfather built this house, that was the front of the house.
I see.
That's the front.
Because that's where they came in from.
Yeah, they come in this way. So that
I
was the front
see.
of the house. It wasn't any lane out the other way.
Uh-huh.
So I said
But you didn't have this side porch. originally, right?
It came as far as this window here. And then the steps
Oh.
came down like this. Have you ever seen the pictures of that?
I vaguely think I have.
The steps came down this way. They always had them steps, but the steps at this end of the porch came down. They were a wide step, about this wide. And they came down to this end of the porch.
And then you just added
And
on.
then Neil rebuilt the whole porch.
I see.
But
But that was all before you left home?
oh yeah.
That you rebuilt the porch?
Oh yeah, that was years before we left.
I see. And how old were you when you left home?
Oh, I was 18 when we went down to Williamsport to work.
And you went right to Gordonati's?
No,
Is
no.
that was that your first job?
No.
Rubber factory.
I done housework first, done housework.
Uh-huh.
The Browns down on 4th Street. And then a lot of people, the young people used to work at the hospital. You know, they used to work there in the dining room, and they lived right there.
They paid them hardly anything, though.
Yeah,
They
they-
counted their board.
Oh yeah, they got their meals and all that sort of thing, but they lived right there at the hospital. And we worked at private homes. We lived there at the private homes too.
Oh, did you?
I lived on 4th Street, just below Walnut, at Brown's. The people named were Brown's.
Right below Walnut.
On the
Going towards town?
yeah,
South side.
Going towards South Side.
about the first nice big house there on 4th Street, just below the Walnut.
Is it still standing?
Yeah.
We should go take a picture of it sometime.
And my
It must be near, Annunciation Church.
Oh yeah, it's right below Annunciation Church, on the right hand, right hand side of 4th Street going down.
Uh-huh.
And there was a big brown house there. And then there was another house next to it that Anna Mulvey worked there. She used to live over here where the old post office used to be. But she worked there. And but we used to go out to the hospital. We always had Thursday off was our day off. And we used to go out to the hospital where the girls worked there. You know, we'd stay out there overnight with them. And
Oh.
never anything thought about it. So I said,
A lot of girls from Cascade worked there.
oh yeah, it was a lot of them.
How did you meet this old fart?
Well, I went to church. I worked up at the rubber company at that time.
Oh.
And I went to, I run around with Betty Tupper and Betty Hamm she was in, and different ones. And we used to always go to stations on Friday night up at Annunciation, because that's where I belonged. Mary Springman lived out in East End, I lived with her.
Uh-huh.
But I didn't like the German church, so I always went up to Annunciation. And I met him, and Betty Tupper introduced me to him.
Is that right?
She was the one that introduced me. We were coming home from church. I thought it was Betty's brother.
Was she matchmaking, do you think?
No, because he was going with her sister at the time.
Oh. Which sister?
Mary.
You're the one that married Tom Byrne.
Oh my gosh.
And
Isn't that?
Tom was a good friend of mine, and Mary was a good friend of mine. All the Hamm girls were good friends.
But
They never got mad at me or anything.
no. Then he took me to a dance at the Knights of Columbus. And
Sounds like my mom and dad.
that was it.
Yeah.
They met at a dance at the Knights of Columbus.
Yeah. Well, I met him at church, and then we went to a dance. And in fact, I went with Seal Greenia, and he took me home. That was the beginning of the affair.
Uh-oh.
But I thought he was.
Was he fast mover like his son? I mean, he
Oh,
kissed me on our first
very
date.
Definitely.
Was he?
I
See?
went to work up the rubber company then.
Runs in the family.
I went to work up the rubber company, and I got my hair caught in the spindle up there, and I had a big hunk of hair.
Oh my gosh.
Bald spot about this big around here on the top of my head.
Oh my golly. Grammy, you were lucky.
I was lucky. I pulled my head down against the machine.
Oh my
and
gosh.
just jerked the hair out. But I could have sued them. They had no thing over the spindle at all. Just an open spindle
I
out
wonder
like
if they
this.
had to have a gun over them.
Well, maybe they
No.
didn't have to have, but I often thought afterwards. But they were quite
The law
concerned
was
about
pretty
me.
lax.
Bet
But
they
they
were.
didn't. Nothing ever came. They took me downstairs, and I stayed down there the rest of the day. But there's anything ever done.
So when he met you, you were a semi-bald woman.
No, I met him before that.
Oh.
This was shortly after I met him. I was a semi-bald.
Semi-bald.
He didn't say.
And you loved her bald and all, right? See, that runs in the family too. That's great.
He wasn't always bald.
No, but she was.
I was. I was bald.
No,
But he still loved me.
Things like that turn out. But then after I found out he wasn't Mary's brother, and he was going with her, I was a little upset.
Oh, were you?
Yep.
Must have been love at first sight
Said
then.
not as long as he was going with somebody else. So then he didn't go very long.
Uh-huh.
But she never faulted me for it, so poor soul. I said and she had multiple sclerosis before her and Tom were married.
Did she really?
She went down to Philadelphia, didn't she? I guess they
Before she was married.
took her down there to find out what was wrong with her, and they found out that
She got in the medical library
and read all about
in a
this.
wheelchair. Wheeled herself and read all about this. Did you know that thing is on?
Yeah.
All about multiple sclerosis.
I'm waiting for the for the bear to come.
So she was.
Well, was she already in a wheelchair before she even got married?
No, she wouldn't
She, the only way they'll let you move if there's anything wrong with her, any paralysis or anything, in the hospital is in a wheelchair.
Oh, I see. Okay. Then she wasn't already.
If you have going with a broken leg or broken arm or anything, they won't let, even when you're leaving the hospital, they take you down to the
Oh, yeah, in a wheelchair.
In a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Well, she was. She said when she could see, she couldn't walk straight. But when she could walk good, she couldn't see right. That seemed to be the beginning of it. And then as time went on, she developed. It got worse and worse and worse till she was finally completely handicapped.
Did any of her children get it?
Oh, Ann has it. Ann Tupper has it.
Well, Ann Tupper isn't her daughter, though.
Oh, no, she's her niece.
Yeah, but did any of her children? She had how many children? Mary?
She had 5.
She had 5 children, but did any of her children?
No, not her
That's
children.
something, isn't it?
Then one of her boys was born crippled, wasn't he?
No, not Ann's. Not Betty.
Betty's,
Not
one of
Mary's.
Betty's boys.
Not Mary's children. Not Mary's.
No.
Oh, Mary has Tom,
She has Tom, and she has Jimmy, and she
Jimmy.
has Jimmy.
and there's a girl,
and Raymond,
Mary.
and Mary Ann, and did she just,
Tom and Jimmy and Mary are the ones I knew,
Yeah.
because they were around my age.
Yeah, and there was Tom and Jimmy and Mary and Raymond. And it seems to me there was another, yes, the one they called Sonny.
Oh.
What was her name?
She was the youngest.
Yeah, she was the youngest in the family.
Oh,
But they said when she was pregnant that she was better than any other time.
Isn't that
She,
something?
she wasn't in any, you know, didn't
Must have
she
been the
wasn't
the
sure.
hormone change
It
maybe
must have
helped
been
her.
the hormone change, yeah.
Isn't that something?
So,
You remember the time we took Jimmy swimming, and you and Mickey dove in up there at Cooper's Pond, and Jimmy drove in and stayed down till you guys went. I sent you in after him.
pull them out.
Well, he must have really loved you to come all the way up here to see you.
Well, he must have. He bought a car, and he had an old touring car, old Star car.
Did he?
Yep.
I wasn't old at the time.
One time he came up
Brand
and
new.
it was raining when he came, and he got ready and went home. I got what time was it? But anyway, he went home, and I went upstairs to bed because I was up with Mom. And she said, "Why don't you tell him to stay all night?" And I said, "He came up in the rain. He can go back in the rain."
Oh my gosh!
Oh, very sympathetic.
Now you know who Ellen takes after.
I said, "He came up in the rain. He can go back in the rain."
Isn't that something?
But then after a while, he started staying over and making a weekend of it, you know. He and John
Your
used to.
brothers never initiated me by taking me down the swamp
No.
because I could have lost them after a trip or two.
But he and John every night after
But you
supper.
helped them. Then you were part of the conspiracy whenever anyone else came up
You
here.
bet your life
Yeah,
he
oh
was.
yeah.
But he and John used to go every night after supper. They'd go in the dining room with the two violins, and they'd sit in there and play in the dark. John did every night. Every night, as soon as we had supper over, he'd go in the dining room and play. So then when George came up and he played the violin, then the two of them would go in there and play.
Wow.
While Mom and I done the dishes.
Did he come up often? Did you come up often?
Purpose?
Yeah. Did you come up here often?
Oh, well, yeah.
Like a couple nights a week?
It was like a night a week and weekend.
Weekends?
Weekend I'd always stay.
Oh, did you stay?
Come up Friday
They
night.
finally left you stay. She finally invited you, huh?
After I sent him home in the rain, I let him stay up on
Oh, I used to go down and take Mom to church.
Yeah, he used to take Mom to church.
And then come back up again. Sometimes we'd both go down.
What was the road like down? It must have been pretty
Oh,
tough.
the dirt road, I can remember when, after we had a car, Pinchot got the farmers out of the mud and opened up this road. There was a good road up, the cement road up to Trout Run. From there on up it was sand, about that much sand.
Oh my gosh.
From Trout Run up to Bernadine, up to Ralston, above Ralston,
Yeah.
Blowing Branch or something.
Then he put this macadam on the roads, and boy, that was a big help.
Yeah.
But the road, you know,
But
after,
Pinchot said he'd get the farmers out of the mud, and he did.
but you know, they'd get the, when it would rain, it would be muddy, when it would be dry, it would be dusty, you know, and it was miserable traveling.
It must have gotten terrible ruts in it.
He just put a thin layer of macadam, or tarvia,
Tarvia.
on top of the dirt roads. And it didn't break up for some reason.
Uh-huh.
It never broke up. And he said he'd get the farmers out of the mud, and he did. He
Kept the mud.
he fixed all kind of roads.
That's
And
great.
then they adopted that in other states.
Well, that was that. What years was that? Was that after you were married? Before you were married?
Before,
They were married. And then they had a hard rain up here one time. Flood, or hurricane, what they call it.
cloudburst.
Cloudburst, they called it. And it washed out the road from here, from over there at the corner down to Bernadine's. They had ruts in the road you could put a car in.
Wow.
The whole
Oh, my
down
gosh.
the hill there, you know, that whole
We
thing was
walked
just,
down that Sunday. What happened on a Friday night, didn't it?
yeah, he was up here, but you could go down the back way, but I didn't think they'd ever fix them up. I really didn't, because honest to goodness, it was ruts deeper than, as
That was
deep
the
as
only
that-
road then.
Yeah, as deep as
Seemed
that
to me
porch
like
railing
it.
there.
Rose Valley Road wasn't open then.
But that was really something.
The only way was to come up through Trout Run then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Through Bedines and up that
We
way.
had sand about 8 to 10 inches deep from Trout Run on up. Clear up to Roaring Branch or somewhere up there. Canton, maybe.
But I said that was living.
This must be a trip down memory lane every time you come up here, huh?
It is. It really is.
That's why we don't come very often.
Oh,
Can't take it.
can't take it. Yeah, I can understand that. Yeah.
My old Star car was one of the one of the first ones that,
I bet you sometimes wonder where'd all the time go.
you know, you wish you had that Star car right now. I bet it'd be worth a mint.
Oh, it would be.
$40, I think, and not included insurance for a year.
Oh my gosh.
And your windshield wiper, you know, you took your hand like this to for the clean
Yeah,
your
you reach
windshield.
up and
Did
pull
you?
a
It was
handle on the
it was a
inside.
hand job.
Started
Oh,
raining,
yeah.
you had to reach up like this and no, and you had side curtains that you put on, but by the time you got them off, it started raining. You were soaking wet. It
But yeah, by the time they got them on, it could rain.
quit raining.
Eyes and glass curtains you can roll
That's
right down in case there's a change in the weather.
But these you had to you put them on and you turn to snap, you know, to fasten them.
Ah.
You didn't stay up. You had to pick them and snap them on.
Oh,
Did we ever eat any apples in a pie or anything from this tree? I think we did.
Oh yeah, they were good.
They were very good tasting, and every one was wormy.
Baldwin apples. They were delicious.
No,
for
these
pies.
are
Not Baldwins, greenings.
greening.
is that what these are?
I bet there's something like this Mrs. Smith.
Miss, yeah,
Like her
I was gonna
apple.
say that must be
Yeah.
what they're like.
Granny Smith's.
Granny Smiths.
Granny Smith. I bet they are.
They sell
because-
Granny Smiths in Britain.
Do they really?
Oh yeah.
Are they raised in the States?
Ah, are they from the States? I've never noticed
No,
where
they're
they said
grown
they
in
were
Britain.
from.
Britain and France, probably. They wouldn't bring it from the States.
They're apples. They're golden delicious and they're red delicious. They can't compare with what you get from Washington State.
Can't they?
They're nice, but
that's
they're
not winter.
puny compared with what you get in the
Yeah.
States. States apples are really nice.
Well,
Gotta
these
say.
apples from around here were good at one time. Now you can't buy a Northern Spy.
No.
They
I
don't-
know.
Any of their nurseries
I
raise
wonder
them
why nobody raises them anymore.
because they are subject to diseases of all kinds.
Last time I bought
Spread
Northern
it.
Spies was when we lived in Littleton.
Yeah,
And I
they got
bought
a
them
new
there.
variety of spies out, but they're not as good as the others.
Mary said she'd like to get a spy tree and plant down there. They have one.
Can you get it through Perkins?
Well, she said they haven't found any place they could buy it, but she said she'd love to get a Northern Spy apple tree and plant it down there. But she was talking when she was up, and George said, well, he didn't think that she would be able to find one in any of the nurseries because you never see them advertised anymore.
I wonder if you could root one from a cutting.
I don't know whether you could. What was it Betty and Larry took down? They wanted to root from a cutting. The tree was over here on the other side of the road. Maybe they got it that one time and they wanted to
It was
root.
an apple tree, greening or something, wasn't it? We walked down that,
It was a,
it was in that orchard.
yeah, but
It
they
was
called
down
it
in here
something.
somewhere.
We called it something from what they did.
Yeah, they had a name for it,
But
technical
they took a
name.
cutting of it, but I don't know whether it ever amounted to anything or not. I never
Hmm.
found out. I don't know how they started these trees. My grandfather planted them. Neil planted a few down back where the barn was after he was old enough, you know, to take over the farm. He planted some down there. They grew nice, but they never amounted to too
They
much.
grew one on the mount here, with a baldwin tree
Yeah.
right here. They never grew at the
Yeah, they
beginning.
never grew very good. And,
They grew to great big trees, but they had very few apples on them.
but I don't know where they brought this Northern Spice from, where their grandfather got them. I don't think they had any these places like they have now that you can buy them, you know, buy the seedlings.
Nurseries.
Nurseries.
We used to
Well,
They
be,
probably took a seed out of an apple and,
Remember Johnny Appleseed?
yeah,
He
they
done-
probably
there
did.
used to be a yellow apple tree out in here
Yeah,
somewhere.
right down there, there was a
Dead now. We used to gather them every year for eating.
and there was one grew right there, just this side of the lilac bush, and then right this side of it, they had a big ditch there that where they put their vegetables and things in and covered them up in the wintertime.
Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
And they kept pretty well?
Oh, yeah.
The lilac bush started over here,
Yeah.
beside the tree. They planted the pine trees too close to it or something, didn't they?
Yeah, well, the mom decided that she only didn't want to put it up there and it's spread out now. It's crazy thing. It's all over.
I wonder when those lilacs have been cut down last.
Oh, I don't know.
They could be cut down any time.
Sure had some trouble. It looks like it had quite a few blossoms on them this year, though. You see
Yeah,
the
it does
top
look like they
there?
had a lot of blossoms.
Do they
They'd
come up
only
again
miss
if you
one
cut them
year.
halfway down, or?
I don't know whether they would or not, John.
They'd only miss 1 year if they cut them down, right to the ground.
Is that right?
Yeah, then they'd grow about that high next year and have little blossoms on.
We never cut them down all the way.
So, Grandpa, you weren't born in Williamsport, though, were you?
I was born in South Williamsport.
Oh, you were born in South
I was
Williamsport.
born
But your
4
mother
hours down
was
from
from
where I live now.
Massachusetts, right? Your mother was from Massachusetts?
Yeah. My grandparents on my father's side were from Germany.
Uh-huh.
Wurtemberg.
Where?
Wurtemberg.
Württemberg?
Württemberg, and that's pretty close to Holland.
Is it?
Yeah, I saw it on the map when Brian Smale, when we drove over,
Oh, yeah.
he was going down somewhere in Germany, and we were mapping out his route, and I happened to see Württemberg. It's not a very big town, it's just
Isn't
a
it?
little town. In the western part of Germany. It's in West Germany.
Huh.
This path down here, this road right past that driveway, wasn't made when we were young. That was an orchard over there.
It was all orchard.
They had red spies over there, and the white spies were down in this orchard.
And all these pine trees that have come around here came from these 2 trees.
These two trees.
Isn't that incredible?
They all come some seeds from those trees.
But there used to be a sweet apple tree over here. We used to pick some of them every year.
There was,
Take them home.
we had 2 different kinds of sweet apple. We had them called, they call the white sweet ones, and they were
Oh,
about,
they were hard.
they were about, no, they're not this kind. There's one tree down here. They're about this
The
big
little
around.
ones, yeah.
Then we had another one that was a small apple. We always used that for apple butter because you never had to put any
But
sugar
it
in
was
your apple
sweet.
butter.
You never
Oh.
So
tasted
sweet
anything
would
so
almost make you
sweet.
sick. There was a tree down here, and there was 2 down here, and they always used them for apple butter. They never got soft. They were a hard apple, but we'd have an apple peeling, and we'd get cut off all these apples and peel them, and then they cooked them, but they never put any sugar in the apple butter because it was that sweet.
Mm.
And then we had another couple trees grew out there that were a small apple. They were about this big around, and they were red. But then we had these white sweet ones, as we call them. They were a big apple. They were like that, and they were delicious.
They were good though.
Yeah, we had a couple of them.
We used to pick them every year.
Then
We
had-
used to pick oddballs. We'd come up here and get, 1 year I think we picked about 40 to 80 bushel
You and
of
Neil.
spies, Neil and I, and spies and Baldwin. And I didn't know till 4 or 5 years old. After that, Springman's hauled it up to, gave them to Caroline. Come in here with a truck, loaded the apples up. We had them in here on the living room floor. And I never knew what became of them.
We
Neil
had
told
all-
me right after he was over to our place to leave.
I don't know. I know he told you. I didn't know.
You don't know why, but Fred got a truck somewhere, and they come up here with the truck, and the whole Springman family loaded those apples up and gave them to Gene Apker
Mm.
after we picked them. We took some down to Isabel one time.
I guess we got all we wanted, but what they were going to do with the rest of them, I don't know. But they used to always, every year, Pop used to send a barrel of apples and a barrel of potatoes down to Philadelphia to John Kane, a cousin of ours.
Oh.
Every year, he'd take it down, they'd haul it down to Bedine's and get on the train and send it down to him.
How about
Because
that?
Jimmy used to do that to Jimmy Loeb.
Yeah, but he
And
took him
his
down
wife
there.
was Jimmy's sister, I think, wasn't she?
Yeah, here's Papa John.
And
then
she said, "Go around back, Jim." He said, "No, I won't go around back," and he pulled a bag up and sent the potatoes in over her living room floor.
she always thought she
And
was
he walked out.
She always thought she was pretty nice, you know. She was nicer than the most people.
She said, "Go around back, Jimmy." He said, "No, I won't go around back." He poured them up on the dining room or living room
On
floor.
the living room floor. You know Uncle Jimmy, didn't you?
Yeah.
Well, he was a character. He always reminded me of St. Peter. I said, I could just see some things that they said St. Peter down on Uncle Jimmy.
That's the way I see our Peter.
Yeah.
Our Peter's like that. I think, boy, is he well named. Our Peter.
But I said it's
Very
quite-
excitable.
Yeah. Well, Jimmy was quite a clogger.
He solves things wrong the first time always, Peter does, doesn't he?
Well,
He
he has,
gets so excited about it, something, oh boy, he's got this right, and he's all wrong, he's calling black white.
he has his problems, Peter. And he gets mad and he goes, oh,
They're doing all right, though.
he sure is doing well.
That's good. I'm glad.
Doing well in his business. His store is doing very well.
Yeah.
Who's he married to?
He's married to Kathleen. Oh, now her name escapes me. Her married name.
Yeah.
Dorset.
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 Dorsey.
Dorsey.
Dorsey. Kathleen Dorsey. And they're buying a townhouse. You know they're buying a townhouse.
That's what you're. Is that a single house?
It's what Michael has. Michael has a townhouse.
Oh,
It's like a row house.
Oh, that's what I was
Fancy
wondering.
name for a row house.
Yeah. Same as your condominiums or
Well, condominiums are apartments.
apartments. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Condominiums are apartments.
They're all on one floor.
Oh.
Where Peter and Kathleen will have the basement, and the living room, dining room, kitchen area, and then the bedroom area, just like a house.
Yeah.
Only it's on a row of houses,
Yeah. They
just
call-
like Mike's.
They call it. He should have waited and bought Mike's.
Oh, he didn't like Mike's.
Didn't he like Mike's?
Mike's was a good buy.
Oh yeah.
I kept saying to him, you ought to buy Mike's house. And but he didn't like it. He's got, see, they have black leather upholstery furniture, and they want everything to be, you know.
Yeah. A cigarette.
Oh yeah. Well, you know, he's driving her crazy these days. You know, he's given up his driver's license.
Does she drive?
She drives.
I never knew she did.
Oh yeah. She was about 52 or 53 when she learned. She learned to drive after I got to know John. It's a good thing now that she can. But, oh, he drives her crazy. He's got such a pessimistic attitude about everything. But I think he's just scared, Annie.
You think he's scared?
I think he's scared. He can't hear well. He's seeing beginning to have double vision. He says when he sits in church, Father Oldfield behind the altar is double vision to him.
Oh.
Now when he comes down to give out communion, it's single vision.
Oh.
He sees him good then. But I think it's really bothering. I think it's really worrying him. I think he's afraid he's going blind. He went to the doctor about it. The doctor put a thing in his glass that's called prism thing. It's called a prism. And, but he told him that he can't help him if it's this one kind of double vision. Can't help him. And I think he's just so afraid that he's going to be losing his eyesight, and
At the patrol.
he's lost his, and giving up driver's license. I think that's been very traumatic for him. It really, I mean, you're really giving up your independence when you do that. It takes a lot of courage to do that.
I think I'll wear Pat's hat.
Wear Pat the Patrol's hat?
Call him Pat hat.
Oh, he's gonna put his own in the car.
Yep. He's gonna go out with him. Well, I told him I think we should we should come once a month. Visit them once a month. They're not getting any older or any younger.
Yeah.
Even to just boost her up.
Yeah.
She needs a boost too,
Yeah.
because she's trying to cope with it all, you know.
Yeah.
Because he won't go down to senior citizens anymore because he can't dance.
Is he clear around up?
Yeah, he's clear around the other side. See, he's got arthritis in his knees. It's terrible. That's why he can't dance anymore. Boy, I said to her the other night, does he realize how lucky he is to be 85 and these things just happening?
Yeah. Yeah.
Gosh, he is lucky. their new shows, their new, from their last trip.
Yeah.
5 reels. 5 reels of, I could hardly get my eyes open. Poor Grandpa kept sleeping. They are beautiful. Bob takes beautiful pictures. And so does Gloria. Boy, they covered a lot of territory.
Oh, yeah.
He must really like to drive. Now, my husband would never do that, Annie.
Well, he's afraid to fly.
Is that why he does it? Oh.
He won't fly.
Oh. I was hoping they'd come over to see us in England.
Oh, I don't think so.
Oh, no.
I
I couldn't get them to come. Is that it? I was thinking she was the one that was afraid to fly.
I know it is, but it's gonna try.
Well,
He-
she might be too, but
But they went over to Germany to see Michelle. It must have been white knuckle all the way.
Handy enough there. Yeah, take it off there and then, at least a little fall on top of the well.
So did you find any berries?
I'm boozing them.
You're boozeming. Oh, you did. Put them in that paper cup there, Graham. That's on the.
Enough for on your setio.
That's a clean paper cup right there. That one.
Father kept picking them and putting them in my hand.
Does that mean you're going to make blueberry pancakes tomorrow, or blueberry muffins?
Well, I don't think there's enough blueberries to make either one. Next week, I think you'll be able to get blueberries.
Is that right?
I suppose we could ready to get something to start to eat out here. The men will be
There's
getting
quite a
hungry.
bit more of them out there in that one store.
Yeah,
But it's wet.
yeah, so
You're wet to get to them.
Okay, I suppose we better go in and make the meal.
I just said that's what the bears are coming in here for.
Oh,
That's possible.
could be.
They make tracks, so it's very.
I don't know how well this is. Oh, it's brightening up. It's brightening up. It is. Well, this says it's the 28th of July. But that's because Dad still has it on British time. Okay? And here we are, sitting in front of the home of the glorious one and Father. Now you're out of focus. Now I'll bring you back a little and you're not out of focus.
Push the autofocus button. Probably just not
What do? Just push it?
push
I-
it, you slide it.
I have it at this end. Autofocus.
Should be fine then.
Yeah. Anyway, there's a beautiful sunset. While I'm talking to John, I'm losing it. So now I got to get up here and try to get this sunset, which I cannot see. I cannot see it. But I'm trusting that I'm getting it. This is Clark Street. We just had a very fine meal. And here we are. Dad, Glorious and Father are in watching Murder, She Wrote. And this is Clark Street. I really farted around too long and missed the really beautiful part of the sunset. But this is a beautiful part right here. Joe. One.